Hey guys, this is Dartimos with Dartimos Dominions, and once again, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, General Confusion. How are you doing, dude?
Hey, doing well, Dartmost.
And as always, Gaslov, my co-host.
What's up?
And yeah, Gaslov, I really appreciate you have been a wonderfully steady co-host in these, and I really appreciate it. Could you? Oh my goodness, what are you feeling like, Gaslov? Do we read it or do we skim it?
Oh, we can skim it. I mean, he's really talkative, which is great.
I need to talk him into these TLDRs because I like this, but I like TLDRs too.
So Asphodel looks like he's just making friends with everybody. I think that's a little timid, but it's a good strategy because then you can focus or at least figure out who you need to kill. You have some safe borders.
Well, we're talking to an elf player who gets naps with nobody, right?
Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of naps myself.
What's your feeling, GC? What's your thought, GC? Do you nap up and then attack in one direction, or do you just naps as they come?
I mean, it varies a lot. I do very commonly kind of make contact with everybody and make basic agreements with everybody. I mean, my feeling about this is Asphodel and Ermor teaming up is bad news for whoever happens to be close to them.
I agree with you, and the scary part is that nobody seems to be interested in Ermor at this point, and I don't think that anybody's going to take that first step. I mean, Gaslov, is this problematic for the world?
Well, we talked about this a couple episodes ago, I think. Ermor is in a really great geographic position where he's out of the way, and it just lessens the chance that anybody's going to be interested in and willing to sacrifice to take him out of the game.
Now, switching over to the attack by Baratos on Pan, I see something missing here. Gaslov, where did he put his white centaurs?
Yeah, exactly. Looks like he got bored, didn't want to patrol, so he's probably out raiding.
I mean, it looks like he. I think you're right. We can go see the other ones. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay, he's got a... And then this one, nope. I'm not seeing them anywhere.
What about that attack against the neutrals in Renthale? There they are.
So instead of counter raiding...
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind here, GC? I mean, why do you think instead of counter raiding or defending his cap... Because there were a couple turn pauses, like where he got into the cap circle, they took a Pan province, they went back to the original province, and then this is the next turn. What do you think the thinking is here?
I mean, it could be a bunch of things. He could have been basically gambling that they weren't going to do this. In which case, he could potentially sneak out and take an indie and just kind of get an advantage with no penalty. Or it could be that he just wants to have his white centaurs out on the map where they can move around and attack without being locked in his capital. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, there can be a lot of reasons why you do something like this, but here's my first question, because I haven't been paying close attention to this game for previous turns. Does Pangea have any other forts?
This is turn 5 or 6.
Okay, so he doesn't have any other forts.
Absolutely not. He got hit like turn 3 or 4. It was wild.
Okay, so then this is a huge problem, because if he had another fort somewhere and he was still getting income, this actually wouldn't be a terrible problem. I mean, it stops him from recruiting white centaurs, but if he was still getting income, it would be like there could be a tactical reason to attack somewhere else before you try to deal with this. But if that's his only fort, he's got to kill them now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he should have stayed in patrolled. But yeah, I mean it's a loss. It's over now, and I don't see Pan coming back from that. Without the PD, he's not going to win that fight. I don't feel.
How many? He has 22 white centaurs. I think he can boot them off.
Do you think he can boot? Oh, it's going to be interesting. We'll definitely get to see for sure at this point.
Maybe
now,
it's 28.
This is the next battle that I want to look at. He's got his prophet supposedly died. Oh, what?
Oh lord.
What? These aren't...
That's a shoot and retreat or something like that.
Oh, that's what it is. And they left the prophet.
Oh no. Oh,
Well,
that is unfortunate.
Wow. Okay, I want to watch it again because this is interesting. What happened to these guys? Where did they go?
This is just one of those, this is one of those really unfortunate scripting errors you make sometimes, and afterwards you're just sitting there like, what the fuck was I thinking?
If you look like he got stuck on the cavalry and they bogged him down for, oh my goodness, and the latecomer came. Oh my.
Yep.
I think if you ran it again, it would turn out differently. Do you think that's inevitable? Was it bad scripting, or do you think that it was just the luck of the dice?
So, like GC said last time, these camel riders are decent in melee. There's no reason to script them like that, in my opinion.
Well, GC, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, so the problem with that is, when you're scripting in Dominions, you always have to plan for something to go fucking sideways. Pardon my French. Sideways. You also have to plan for stuff to go sideways in unpredictable ways. And that's just kind of introducing an extra point of failure. Because, I mean, your prophet is kind of a load-bearing boss, as it were. It's important to keep your prophet around. So there's really no reason to ever leave them alone like that. I mean, the problem is, he's got his camels scripted to run away, and he's simultaneously got his Adite elite warriors scripted to attack. So it's pretty much inevitable that at some point, his prophet is going to just be standing there alone in the middle of the field. Honestly, I would probably have... Because, this is not a super tough-looking fight. I would probably have scripted some of those Adite elite warriors to stay on bodyguard.
That'd have been a good idea, too. And the thing is, these guys are really good. It's a 12 attack, 17 damage attack. I mean, these guys seem to be able to take care of themselves. Maybe keep a group on the bottom, a group on the top, and almost bodyguard it through.
Well, the Desert Warriors. I mean, the problem with the Desert Warriors is they only have 10 hit points and they have protection of 3. So they just kind of die. And with Defense 11, Protection 3, it's like Militia kill them. I mean, Militia inflicts significant attrition. So they're useful, especially if you can slap a whole bunch of buffs on them. They can be pretty good, but they're just... You get so much attrition when you're using them. I mean, if we look at the results of this battle, they lost 5 of them and they barely even fought.
I mean, the nice thing is he's getting a Jade province out of this in his cap circle, so in the long run it is worth it, but gosh, I wish, I mean, you want to get less damage when that happens. The other thing that's interesting is he's only got this horse tribe to hit next, which I'm interested if he's actually going to be able to hit or not. Oh, see, now this is nicer.
Can he get, he can combine both those armies.
Oh, you're right, he could.
That's probably what I would do, because that's a really valuable province.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you're right, 164. He doesn't have candles, so he doesn't know that, but yeah, he's got to go there anyways. I think you're right. Now, there was another one that I wanted to look at, which was this Abyssian fight here, which turned out, somehow or another, very, very poorly. And what's interesting is I'm not seeing your typical... usually, Jaguar Warriors and Crystal, those are not the dangerous indie types for me. Have you ever seen these guys being dangerous before? Gaslov, how scary are these guys?
Anything can be dangerous in this game. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
yep, there you go.
Oh, no! No! Are these his? These aren't his sacreds? So
no, those are just Abyssian infantry. Yeah.
So even the Abyssian infantry have a heat aura.
Yes.
Oh wow. What's funny is he still almost wins anyways.
Yeah, just because they routed into the enemy.
That is nuts.
So what? So his commander just got sniped.
Yeah, it's this was, I mean, it's just utterly disastrous.
Yeah, that's just
They chase the routers. So we see them, they hit this northern group right here, chase after them, and then these guys run out of ammo at the perfect time. I don't see that being bad scripting. Do you guys see that as bad scripting, or do you think that it was just bad luck?
What could you do differently? I mean, the only thing you can do with that commander is tell him to stay behind troops, and that's what he did.
Yeah,
fair enough.
That's there's not a whole lot you could do about that.
Okay, and other than that, we're just seeing a lot of, I mean, facial loss. This is nothing. And other than that, we're not seeing a lot of anything from this. This looks about right for Horse Tribe versus no shields.
Yeah.
And again, he just got, I mean, I guess this is a good result. GC, what do you think? Is it a good result, bad result?
When you're using Eagle Warriors against, so the thing about Eagle Warriors is they don't have much in the way of defense. So they're really good if you can use them against provinces that have just like one or two commanders to snipe the commander with a rear attack. But against a province like this, where it has like 80 guys, all of whom have ranged weapons, you're just gonna take those kinds of casualties. Like, there's nothing you can do to stop that.
Colin, he somehow missed that back group.
Yeah, he missed the attack rear. He dropped on the flank. So, yeah, you're going to take these kinds of casualties. But that said, I mean, they still won.
And then they're going to go suicide themselves against the retreating guys.
Yeah, and, I mean, as I mentioned before, Eagle Warriors are, like, the most replaceable Sacred in the game. They're fast. They're super cheap. You can just churn them out every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So, it doesn't really hurt that much.
Aramore right now is getting to be a large problem. At what point, what's your philosophy on Aramore, GC? Do you hit him early? Do you hit him late? Are you the first one to hit him, or do you wait for a coalition?
It's kind of hard to say. Aramore is in like Dominions 4, Aramore was terrifying. In Dominions 5, Aramore has kind of vacillated a little bit. Right now, I guess I would say, honestly, Aramore isn't that scary unless they're left completely alone for like 30 turns. Because the thing with Aramore is the fact that they have to summon all of their mages, and their mages are super expensive, means that they're just never going to have a whole lot of magic in the fight. So there's always options to fight them. Like, even very late game, honestly, if Aramore is coming after you, it's still going to be basically a ton of skeletons and then like a couple of mages, and that's handleable. It's not as much of a disaster as it was in Dom 4 or Dom 3, where it would just be like, every single one of my provinces is being attacked by 100 skeletons every turn forever. I don't know if they changed the spawn rate or what, but Aramore is a lot less threatening than it used to be. That said, this Aramore, who has another pop kill nation on their flank and is kind of in this corner where people aren't really attacking them, that's kind of a scary look. And especially with that horrifying bless he has, I would start to be worried probably around like turn 12 or 16 if no one's done anything about Aramore. I would be like, okay, well.
Well, let's move on to the next turn 8, and we'll see what goes on with the we'll see what's going on with the Pangea fight, because I'm kind of interested in seeing what goes on. Oh, hey, look, we got people talking. Hooray! GC, can you read it for me?
If there's some way to not lose Eagle Warriors or a bunch of units for every province I take, I would like to know, please. I'm sorry, there is no way. You're going to lose Eagle Warriors.
Use Jaguars. You'll lose 0 Eagle Warriors that way.
Yeah.
That's true, but I mean, the Jaguar Warriors are what, like 3 times as expensive?
They're twice as expensive, and they don't die. That's one thing I told him was like, Eagle Warriors, I think I'm with you, GC. I think against a player in late game, when you're able to churn out these Eagle Warriors in every single province, go Eagle Warriors. It's great. But for expansion, go Jaguar. And I think we did that during the interview, and I think we might see a change in that direction in the next 2 or 3 turns as he did the interview with us.
So one last thing I'll say about the Eagle Warriors is, if you remember a couple of years ago, there was a big Dominion's Disciples game on YouTube.
Yes.
Lucid was on one team, NASA team. Anyway, one of the teams I think it was Sakane and somebody else.
Yeah, he had one of his buddies from a long time ago, and
Right.
they were the elves.
No, not the elf team. There was a team that was middle-aged Mechlin and what the hell is their name?
I know there was, there's Marignan and Bandar Log was Lucid. You were Ulm and Ashdod. And there was a Pan in another... See, the other 2 groups, I didn't know Sai at the time, so Sai was playing as one group.
Right, no, there was a team that was Mechlin, and I literally cannot... This is so... Nazca, that's it.
Nazca, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was middle-aged Mechlin and Nazca. And so they had... And so basically, what they recruited was... They summoned Condors, and they recruited Eagle Warriors.
Oh my.
And they had the same bless, the high damage thunder weapons bless. And those Eagle Warriors were incredibly effective with that bless. Because they could, they're 15 gold, you can recruit them in every province. And so they just spammed out hundreds of these things, and in every battle, they dropped down on top of the enemy army and killed everything they attacked in one round, because they were doing, I think they had +4 strength and thunder weapons.
That is insane.
So yeah, that's what they're really, really good for. But yeah, against indies especially, you are going to take losses, and you just kind of have to accept that as the price of doing business.
I mean, if you're exchanging a 15 gold unit for a mage, I don't care if it's sacred, limited recruit, whatever. It's 15 golds for a mage. That's a great exchange. But if it's 15 gold for an independent mage, I'm not so sure.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the Eagle Warriors, it's 15 gold for a unit that flies, so it picks its attack, and it has 2 attacks. So especially if they've got some kind of damage increasing buff, generally speaking, your Eagle Warrior is going to drop down and kill 3 or 4 people before it dies. In which case, yeah, you're trading pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what, when you're saying, against players, Eagle Warriors are great, I completely agree. I think that you need to be more, in expansion, you're trying to lose nothing. That's, ideally, you lose nothing. Against a player, if you lose nothing, that player is, it's a whole other situation. Gaslov, do you want to read this one for me?
Sure. Abyssia here. Expansion has gone well, other than the debacle at Might Marsh. I've negotiated most of the remaining provinces on my borders, so that leaves me free to take an adventure. Luckily, I've been asked to intervene in the Pangean-Phasian conflict. My troops are moving into that border already, so this is perfect for me. I should be able to focus my attention on this conflict because I've negotiated NAP 3s with Nabaa and Asphodel. Relay is a wild card, but they won't be allowed on my beaches.
This is entertaining because he told me he was planning on attacking Pangea, and I think he got there and Pangea's like, help me please. And so now he's going to be jumping in, I guess? I mean, what would you... So imagine that you're in this situation, Gaslov, as Abyssia. What are your war goals by jumping into this conflict?
I mean, that is great for Abyssia. I mean... there's no other way to put it. I don't know why Phasia would concede the capital, especially since, thus far he's done all the work.
GC, as Pangea's player, would you be inviting Abyssia into the war against Phasia, knowing that he's going to ask for cap circle provinces?
I would assume that Abyssia would just come in no matter what I said and try to take the capital. Because as we said, with the blesses that we've seen, I think a handful of lava warriors is perfectly capable of beating that Phasian army. So, if I see Abyssian troops coming in and I'm Pangea, my expectation is I'm okay, so they're going to roll in and fight the Phasians on my capital and try to sit on it. So honestly, if I was Pangea in this situation, I might be tempted to hide my white centaurs and wait for them to have that fight and then try to attack the winner.
What's fun about white centaurs is they can sneak into and out of forts, so those white centaurs could very well be inside the fort.
Sure, they could.
And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here in the next couple turns, because that's one of the nice things. I haven't been watching these turns, RCK has, so yeah. Oh,
So one thing you have to consider, though, if you're the Abyssian player, is that you can't get to Fascia. You simply can't. And you don't want to tick off someone who can annoy you the rest of the game.
I think he's out of position, though. There's no way that he can... I mean, as much as Abyssia can't hit Fascia, Fascia can't hit Abyssia either. They're going to have to come to some kind of agreement or be at war the rest of the game, though. I think you're right. I mean, is that worth it to... I mean, if you're Fascia and you get kicked off that cap from Abyssia, is that like, my game's over, I'm now going to, fight to the bitter end?
I don't think so.
No, but Fascia can outraid Abyssia. I mean, Abyssia is just slow.
Well, let's look at the map right here, because Abyssia's cap is... Oh, is this... No, this is Relays Lake. So Fascia's here, Abyssia is here... Like, the only thing that he can raid, I guess, is this province, which he 9 gold province, maybe 18 when the unrest goes away. And I guess the cap, but every time he lands here, you know what's going to happen next turn.
Yeah,
I misunderstood the agreement. For some reason, I thought he was going to let Abyssia come take the capital. I don't know why.
Yeah, Pan isn't the one inviting, as far as I can tell.
Okay, so he's just saying, hey, you can vulture if you want.
Yeah, I mean, do you take that, Gaslov? Do you take? Oh wow, they already one turn cracked it. Would you be attacking that capital knowing that Or I'm sorry, would you be, if say you're Fascia and Abyssia comes in and vultures literally the cap? Do you stay at war with them the rest of the game?
I'd be pretty ticked. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that was my kill, And the thing is, I know Abyssia cannot support territories this far away from his capital or any of his forts, really. It would be a very long conflict, I think.
Have you ever fought a person before, Gaslov? Like, as in, I know I'm not going to win because I'm killing you.
I've only done that when people like 3v1 gank me. I'll pick one to try to take out, just to make it, less appetizing in the future.
Okay. Yeah, GC, what were you saying, dude?
I just, I'm looking at this map, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Fascia could, spite Hell War against Abyssia over this if they wanted to, but fundamentally, I don't think it would be worth it. I mean, they still have neutrals around literally 2/3 of their lake to attack, and fighting with Abyssia is never going to go anywhere. Fascia is not going to get to Abyssia's capital. It's just not going to happen. They would have to go through, first of all, it's 6 provinces away. They might have to go through Nabaa along the way, and there's a couple of places that are going to be really hard to get through. That forest province right there is a big blockade. There's a throne right next to it they would have to go through to get to Abyssia. The only thing they really could fight Abyssia over would be the capital itself. And if Abyssia is sitting on that capital with lava warriors, what are you going to do? If I was Abyssia in this position, I would absolutely 100% roll in and try to steal Pangea's capital.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Now, the problem is, if you look at Fascia, this is turn 8, and I talked to him about this. I told him, you need to make sure that you keep expanding. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces on turn 8.
And does he have any forts building?
I think it's a good point. He has 0 forts being built.
Because as Fascia especially, you have a lot of gold, you should be building forts pretty quickly.
And I mean, he's got plenty enough. I mean, my thought is he just landed these troops here. Why? I mean, these guys are not going to make or break your battle. You could be attacking there. You could be attacking, I guess the Barbarian's probably not good. You could grab that one, possibly even that one. It's really interesting that he's neglecting expand to this level.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as though... Was it? Oh, keep going.
It looks like he made this plan to rush Pangea, and he's kind of gotten a little bit fixated on it, which I understand. Like, I'm the same way. But yeah, there's a bunch of provinces around him that he probably should be grabbing just because they're low-hanging fruit. Like, hell, that province that Satis bounced off, if I was in his position, I would absolutely take this province this coming turn.
Well, let's transition to that one. What happened here? Let's look and see.
Satis has been having a really tough time.
I think he basically just got shot with crossbows.
Oh, geez, they're crossbows. Yeah, and there's no shields.
Yep.
I mean, it's a 50-50. I think that this is absolutely worth it. I think that trying for this, because this is his initial expansion army, it's going to die eventually, and to have tried for it, I don't think that that's a huge issue. That being said, it does, I'm sure it stinks a lot.
I thought he lost his initial expansion army. I thought he failed his first expand.
That's possible. What's another thing that's interesting, what happened to his mercenaries? He must have lost them last turn or something? But yeah, he wasn't able to jump into here, sadly enough. Well, Satis seems to be off to a bad start. Meanwhile, Airmore is now close to is now near the capital, which is interesting. I think that I talked to Airmore in around this turn, and he's saying that he's starting to eye Satis to some extent, and that he is also going to try for this throne. Now, what's interesting is that he believes that this is a 3-point throne, because the throne, the 3-point is the throne of the sun, and we have the solar serpent here.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still a good throne.
Okay, go into why, GC.
Because it lets you recruit Wind Masters, and it gives you, I mean, there's a lot of good things about it. It gives you 3 gems. It gives you air shield on your blessed troops, which is kind of like a fun fringe benefit. But also, it gives you air 2 mages, which a lot of nations just don't have, and air 2 is really impactful. So, I mean, that lets you cast, that lets you do thunder strikes, that lets you summon air elementals, that lets you do a lot of air item crafting. With a little bit of boosting, if you can get your hands on a booster, it will let you cast storm. You can do a lot of stuff with air 2.
And what's interesting is that he does not have the 3-point throne on his border, so he's going to have to actually push out in order to get it. The 3-point throne is in range of Abyssia, theoretically Pangea, Relay, and Satis, and those are the ones that are going to have the ability to get only 4 thrones to win.
Oh, that's really funny too. Like, the Throne of Air has the Solar Serpent on it and all these fire-themed monsters, and then the Throne of the Sun has the Titan of Heaven, Griffins, and Springhawks.
And Zeus himself is on that.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so any other battles of note in this turn? I can't really see any. Yeah, everything was kind of just a roll other than that. We've got more expansion through assassins, which is really cool. I wish we could see those assassination battles.
Actually, no, hold up. It said he lost that.
Wait, what?
He lost it. He had his Slayer set to retreat.
Oh, because they're decaying. He's got them on hold 5 and then retreat. And so these guys aren't going to move. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he had his assassin set to retreat, I guess, and so he ran off the board and lost, even though all the enemy units died.
This guy, he lasted what, 5 plus probably like 7 or 8 turns of decay. That's amazing. Do you know how the decay works, dude?
I don't, to be honest. I think it's just that they take like 1 damage every other round or something, or every round, but it has to be partially randomized because some of them die like immediately. So I'm not sure what the mechanics behind it are. Because like there, you can see like they're just dying.
Yeah, they lose all of their hit points in one go.
I'm not sure how it works. It's effectively a Soul Slay effect, right? It's a 999 damage effect. But I don't know what makes it proc.
Yeah,
it might be an MR. It might be an MR check.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, it'd be like it's so random, But yeah, it's just the results are great. Good catch on that, by the way, because I totally missed that. And then I think that's it, so we can move on to turn 9. We are burning through these turns. I'm hoping to go a little bit faster with some of these and get like 1 or 2 good conversations a turn and try to go a little bit faster so we can get another game in because I really am enjoying these things. GC, do you want to read this for me?
Face it, Fort Storming time, good luck to me. Just talked with Abyssia, it's too bad we can't send in-game memes because he had a funny one upon seeing me on Pan's cap. I'm surprised that Pan hasn't been more vocal about his rush. This will give me more time for some people to think I'm not that much of a threat if people aren't communicating. So far, I know Asphodel and Abyssia have seen me attack Pan. Now I need to catch up on expansion, but at least I'll be ahead of Fort and Lab plus Nature Gems if it all works out. Okay, yeah, I mean, if the gamble pays off, if he actually does take Pangaea's capital, then yeah, he's in a decent spot. Like, he effectively has, if a second capital turn 9 is nothing to sneeze at. Now, the question just is, from my perspective, A, if he can actually beat all those white centaurs, and B, if Abyssia is going to move in and try to stab him in the back. I guess if they've been having a conversation, probably Abyssia isn't going to do it, but...
Yeah, I think you're right. And I just realized that we're at 30 minutes, and so let's put a break in here, and we will come back and finish off this turn. So, General Confusion, thank you so much for joining up with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gaslov, as always, an honor to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye.